Sports This Morning is back again. We're broadcasting live from Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Austin Okonakman.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Cecilia Morgan.
It's still an action-packed world of sports. So much to talk about this morning, and they say the rule is ladies first. So we're going to be giving attention to the Nigeria Women's Premier League, Cecilia, Week 8 action. What a story. Big win for Osun Babes.
Yeah, definitely a big one for them. And also, you have World Sunshine Queens just beating FC Rebel by London. Yeah, penalty spot.
Victory.
Yep, not so sweet. Now let's move over to the FIFA Confederations Cup, where Cristiano Ronaldo was the one who had to rescue Portugal once again in the game against Russia. Right now, well, they are on 4 points.
That's what it is. So Portugal fire up, but still at the Confederations Cup, end of the road for New Zealand. I don't know, well, somebody say expected because they happen to be the whooping boys. So New Zealand out of the way. Will Cameroon or Australia follow?
We'll just wait and see.
That's right.
All they have to do is to lose and don't follow.
Okay.
It's easy.
Where do we go from here?
Yeah, we'll start from the Aegon Championship. Tennis, of course, big upsets happening. Aegon Championship, I mean, all the first 3 seeds are out.
That's right.
And having another player joining them, Tsonga, is the latest to join that losing top seeds in that tournament. Now we'll start with Thomas Berdych and, of course, Dimitrov. Talking about at the Queens before. We'll start with the Queens, of course. Dimitrov and Thomas Berdych, both of them through at the tournament. But then you have all the big stars also are falling. For Thomas Berdych, it was a smooth one for him, but he had to go through a tough 3 sets to beat a very young Canadian, 18-year-old precisely, Shapovalov, 7-6, 6-7, 7-5.
Yeah, 18-year-old Dennis Shapovalov. And Cecilia, you can use competition as this to, get your name out there. Even if you don't win, announce yourself big time. And that's what Dennis is doing against Berdych. And you see, that meant so much for Berdych to beat this 18-year-old. But you see, with tennis, I keep saying it, that if you can't win the Grand Slam, win these ones that will get us talking about you. So Berdych still powers on at the Queen's Club. But that 6 seed Grigor Dimitrov also fought because it's been a fight. No pushovers anymore. These guys, whenever they see these other guys that have been playing tennis for quite some time, Julian Benatir says, look, if I can beat Grigor Dimitrov, then people will talk about me. So he made Bulgaria to fight all the way. And when you fight to win this to get this sort of victory, then it means the next game you need to consolidate. For Julian, next championship needs to get better than what he did at the Queen's Club. So Cecilia, everybody up in the game, no time to look at anybody. Yeah,
no time at all, because for Dimitrov he had to hit about 15 aces.
Wow.
And that was the only way he was able to beat that Julian Benatir. It was a tough one for him. First 6-6, 3, 6, 4.
That's right.
Now move over to Tsonga, who is out. The Queens, I mean, on the first day, he started with Andy Murray, then Stan Wawrinka followed, Milos Raonic followed, and now you're having Tsonga. It's like, Yemi talked about the transition from clay, to the grass court. It's always very difficult. Even Andy Murray mentioned that also. I think that's the reason why these top seeds are just falling by the wayside. Because if you cannot get enough pre-Wimbledon tournament, before Wimbledon starts, then it's going to be hard for you because your first 2 games will be more like a practice for you.
I think everything boils down on strategy. These guys are just funny. He looks tired. With Tsonga playing this man looks so tired. At first when I saw him, the first set, I'm like, why is he going this way against Mueller? So if they do well on clay and do well on grass, we'll come talk about it. Oh, he did so well on clay and he's doing so well on grass now. These guys are very funny. Some of them will say, oh, let me be strategic, let me be tactical, let me not show them my play. Grand Slam is coming.
Oh, really?
Some of them are like that. Coaches will say, oh, just go out there, be yourself, but those things that you give us at Wimbledon, don't show it here because people are watching you, So
Just
if you lose,
fit.
you lose.
You lose.
It's like when you start telling me because you came from clay to grass, all of those are excuses. But we've been talking about Joe with Tsonga for quite some time now. Plays fine boy tennis, doesn't go the extra mile where you expect him to. Because it's some of those guys you expect to have that breakaway with the likes of Kai Nishikori, Milos Raonic, and he hasn't lived up to that. So out of this one now, even approaching the match, everything, body language didn't tell he wanted to win that one, and then he lost it. He lost it well.
He lost it well. Yeah, very well, convincingly, you know, to Juice Miller. Now from the Aegon Championship, we'll move over to the Gary Weber Open Championship, where Federer is playing, but he wasn't in action yesterday. You had other big stars that were there. Alexander Zverev, he was in action. He pulled off a very, very impressive win, winning his own tournament against, winning the tournament. The game he played against Philip Kohlschreiber for the very first time, that match ended 6-3, 6-4. It's actually the first time he's beaten Philip Kohlschreiber. But then if you check this 20-year-old, the way he has started tennis, it's been a spectacular one for him. But what we're seeing right there, the picture, is the game, the match between Andy Murray and Jordan Thompson, where Andy Murray made the early exit. But he said it was actually a huge blow for him because he was thinking he was going to use this tournament to prepare for Wimbledon. But now he will be considering playing somewhere else because there's no match fitness there. You haven't really tested, you know, the grass court tournament, and now you're going straight to Wimbledon. So I think he knows what to do to actually ensure that he will just be fit for that.
And Cecilia, that's why I'm not buying the talks of the transition from clay to grass isn't good enough for Andy Murray. Every competition counts because I mean he's a top player. You're not expecting him to exit the way he did, and now he needs to contemplate, strategize on what to do before Wimbledon, because for Wimbledon he's going to be under a lot of pressure. He's not just going to be playing in front of home fans, he'll be playing against the media, he'll be playing against his own form, he'll be playing to, you know, stay well at the rankings. So this doesn't look well for him. But Cecilia, some names that we should keep down that should do well at Wimbledon now, we've seen it. Thomas Berdych is having it good. Maybe we'll look at Dimitrov. Yeah, we'll look at Dimitrov. Gregor also. There's also Alexander Zverev. Zverev has always been there. It makes us talk about him in the last 4 months. So we'll talk about Dominic Thiem. Though he lost in Austria to Robin Haas, but these guys, their tennis have been on the rise, and all the time we say we want that breakaway from that top 4. New guys to come into it. The
guy that will come into it has to be Dominic Thiem. That might just break into it. The match we were talking about earlier, Zverev and Philip Kohlschreiber, Zverev winning that match 6-3, 6-4. He is 20 years old. We had to face he faced no break point at all, hitting about 10 aces to ensure his first win over Kohlschreiber. So that's another player to also watch out for if you're talking about players that can actually break into the top 4 in the future, because when you're having some players like Novak Djokovic right now, Andy Murray, we don't even know what their form is right now because of their inconsistency. You mentioned Dominic Thiem also. He's out, but on clay he was really, really very good on clay. But the transition we talked about earlier sometimes you know, can make it difficult. That's why you have older players like Roger Federer who feel, okay, will I be fit after this? Will I be able to make that smooth transition at this age? He has been doing it before because he's younger and all that, but now he feels, okay, I need to play less of it and focus more on the grass court and see how I can actually prolong my career.
That's right. Cecilia, that's why whenever these guys have an opportunity to come out here, because particularly with tennis, there's never a small match. When you have these fans come out, when it's on television, when it's going to affect your rankings, when it's going to prepare you for a Grand Slam event, then it's not small. So that's why I said let's take a look at Grigor Dimitrov, Thomas Berdych, the likes of even Richard Gasquet, you know, playing well at this stage. Wimbledon should light up some fire. Yeah,
it should be. But then let's listen to Andy Murray talking about what he's going to do before Wimbledon.
Yeah, big blow for sure. I mean, obviously, you know, this tournament's given me great preparation in the past, and when I've done well here, you know, Wimbledon has tended to go pretty well too. So, you know, not ideal, obviously. Guys have in the past also gone into Wimbledon having not, you know, won lots of matches, and you know, Novak a number of times hasn't played any warm-up tournaments and played very well there. You know, it has happened in the past where guys haven't done well and gone on to do well at Wimbledon. There's no guarantees that I know don't do well at Wimbledon, but it certainly would have helped to have had more matches, and that's always been the case for me at this event. When I've got matches, it's certainly helped at Wimbledon.